Hi there, this is John Frenay, and welcome to an Encore presentation of our Legacy Business Spotlight. These are best done in person, and with the current state of emergency restrictions, that's just not possible. So we will be re-releasing our past episodes every Saturday at noon until this pandemic is in our collective rearview mirror. Until then, enjoy this Encore presentation of our Legacy Business Spotlight.
Some businesses succeed, some don't. Then there are those that seem to have been around forever. The true entrepreneurial success story. How did they do it? What was their vision? What makes a success? In this special episode for Eye on Annapolis, we speak with the true success stories, those business owners that have been around for decades, learn from their successes and failures. Now, here's host John Frenay.
We're down here on Bay Ridge Avenue or Road, one of the two. I get them confused.
Bay Ridge Road, yeah.
And we are with Evie Turner, who is the vice president of, and I'm going to screw it up, but I'm going to say Main Ingredient, but it is now known as Main and Market, which is my favorite breakfast spot in Annapolis, and I've not been shy about saying that for years and years, and convenience certainly plays a part because I don't live too far from here. But you guys have been around for a long, long time.
A long time.
And you know, when we started the series, one of the things I said was like somebody moved away from Annapolis and came back 20 years later and start talking about the businesses that were there way back when, and certainly Main Ingredient would come to mind. And we wanted to jump in here and talk to you about it. And you know, so where did Main and Market get its start?
So Main and Market actually here started as Main Ingredient in 1993. Was really a gourmet to go. Is how it started, as a gourmet to go and a catering business. But I honestly think the gourmet to go portion was a little ahead of its time. The patrons in this area wanted a restaurant. So they did evolve eventually the gourmet to go to a full service restaurant.
Okay.
And then that's sort of how that time just maybe about 5 years ahead of schedule with the gourmet to go. It is so much more popular now than it was then. People really weren't ready to come in and buy their dinner to go yet. They were still making things at home, whereas we had, food ready to, people could come in and get our craisin chicken salad by the pound then. And that was all we had then. And a little bit of a deli case, and we had the bakery case. Obviously, bakery is a big part of what we do as well. And that is something that has never changed. So we still have the same amazing recipes. The pumpkin muffin, our decadence.
A big favorite.
Yeah.
And I don't do it, and I didn't like it, but most people love the spiced iced tea.
Oh, yeah, the spiced iced tea, which is a great blend of iced tea, orange juice, and cloves.
I do the standard iced tea when I'm here, and I just don't, but everyone raves about the spiced iced tea.
Hot or cold, it's very good.
Main and Market, I know it as a restaurant.
Okay.
Main Ingredient, and for breakfast, and primarily for breakfast for me. But you guys do a ton of catering. Now, did the catering come first, or did the restaurant?
Catering came first. I like to refer to it as the Martha Stewart time, when Martha Stewart was one of the few entertainers who was writing cookbooks back then. And a lot of people were interested in having in-home catering, whether it was for a wedding or just a private affair in their home. Corporate catering hadn't taken off quite yet, so it was a lot of your average 50-person parties, and guests loved it. It made life so much easier. Since then, it's evolved tremendously, but catering really came first.
Now, when you say catering, in-home catering, that's obviously catering a party in their house, but are you actually preparing in their house, or are you bringing food in, or is it a combination?
It's a combination. We usually prep everything here, so the ingredients are prepped, but let's say if our goal is to cook everything on site.
Okay.
No matter where we are. Our goal is to bring in ovens, create a kitchen in the middle of a field, or in your home under a tent. We really do our best to cook everything on site because that does affect the quality of the food.
Okay, I remember when I was a kid, my grandmom used to have, on Thanksgiving and Christmas, when we'd have all the extended family in there, they would have two women that would come in and cater our dinners, and it was just fabulous.
Everyone
they
can
would like
enjoy.
family.
Yeah, you can enjoy your day. In fact, that's something that's really evolved over the years is holiday catering. We used to never have clients on Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. Now we have some repeat clients every Thanksgiving and Christmas. And we have staff that may not want to that don't have families, but they want to work. So we have that happen a lot now.
Well, how have you grown? I mean, I know that, again, from the retail point of view, where I see you on 914, I think is the address on Bay Ridge. But, you had the little cafe, and then you took the space next door, and then you, added a little bit to that, and then the space behind, and all sorts of...
I think we've added on about 4 times, actually, since the beginning. We had a tiny office that was restaurant and catering where the cafe is now. Since then, we've evolved our catering office 3 times. So now we have a beautiful walk-in office right next door to the cafe, where you can come in and sit with a sales consultant.
That would be the door that everybody that's trying to get to the cafe goes to open first and go, why are they closed?
And they say table for 2. And our lovely office manager, April, will say, oh, next door to the right. Really, we have added on. Each reason was we needed a conference room, to meet with clients. We used to meet with clients in the cafe, but we got to the point where we didn't want to take away from the cafe, and it's just it's a more pleasant experience to come in, have a tasting, taste your menu for your wedding, discuss in detail what your event is about, because we really help with all aspects of the event. I mean, we're obviously not just doing the food portion of the party. We handle the rental, the equipment, the linens. So when we meet with the client, we sit down and lay everything out, talk about your colors, talk about the layout of the event, the timeline. So it is.
What type of events do you do? I mean, I'm looking up on the shelf here, and I see a bunch of wedding cakes that are making me salivate a little bit. But I imagine they may be plastic because
they are. They're styrofoam, and then they're all covered with fondant. But we do have some beautiful cakes that an amazing pastry chef.
Is weddings your thing as far as catering? Or?
Weddings and corporate catering. I mean, it's 50-50, really. We do pretty much. You're going to do your corporate drop off for 10 to 15 people, which we'll do several of today, for example, anywhere from Hanover to Riva Road. So we're everywhere.
That could be a box lunch platter type things for a board meeting. We'll set up a
buffet for a board meeting. We'll provide a server who maybe it's a higher end board meeting where someone's coming in and it's China, and then we wait outside until lunch break.
I need to get on those
coffee,
boards.
All of that. So we'll start early in the morning and do coffee, snacks, lunch. We do actually quite a bit of that. And then we'll also, that's more of our Monday through Friday business. We do a lot for University of Maryland. We do work for the Naval Academy. And that's really where the business, and then we work with several meeting planners as well. That's where we really grew. Because the demand for catering has grown tremendously for, let's say, an executive MBA program, or they need to feed everybody in between classes and make sure that all dietary restrictions are met. And that's something that's really evolved in the catering world, too.
Sure.
And also at the Naval Academy, we do all the suites at the stadium for football, for lacrosse. So we have about 24 boxes that we take care of for all those seasons. So that's a great part of our business, too.
Well, you mentioned dietary stuff, and you guys are pretty much capable of accommodating any allergies.
And there's a lot out there.
I know.
We practice good allergen prevention. So when we have a client who says, I'm allergic to tree nuts, the bakery will take extra care to make sure everything is washed.
We're segregated.
And we're not a gluten-free bakery, but we can, we're not. But we obviously, again, it's all about washing and practicing the right.
And does that carry over into the cafe as well? So I mean, if I've got a
we have a large menu in the cafe, so there are a lot of options. If you're gluten free, vegetarian, vegan, the line can usually help with that. So,
okay.
Yeah, we just had actually a large table in here Sunday night, and 2 of the guests were celiac. And they had a wonderful dinner and chose some great items out there. Again, though, we always say to people, if you're that sensitive, you may want to, bring your own dinner to that wedding. But rarely does that happen.
Right. No. Well, it's amazing how many, I don't want to say special needs, but that the diners have. And it's grown much beyond a preference. Growing up, I ate crappy fish on Fridays because my mom used to pawn me off to neighbors that were Catholic. And I've got an aversion to fish, and I just won't eat fish. And it has no other reason other than I ate crappy fish when I was little, and I just didn't like it. So therefore,
right.
in my mind, all fish is bad.
All fish is bad.
So if it's swims,
you're not allergic. But
no. But I play that allergy card all the time.
Yeah.
Why don't you like the fish? No, I'm allergic. So what is the most surprising thing, I guess? What do most people don't know about Main and Market?
A lot of people don't know that we customize everything. When you have a vision for an event, you're not coming here to say, I'm going to pick 1, 2, or 3. Our sales consultants sit down and we really listen to what you want. You can trust the fact that we're going to help you create that vision. So it's really important. We may send a client, this is our menu, just to get things started for you to begin thinking. But there may be something on that you've thought about for your event, and we'll make it happen. So that is something a lot of. That's
so we're not ordering a number 7.
No.
Chicken dinners or something for a wedding.
The Main and Market was really built on personalization and that personal connection, because we have 6 sales consultants that are here to help the client really work on what they want. And because of what I was saying is everyone knows their guests. You know your guests better than we do, and the more you tell us, the more we know to help make it happen.
Right.
So that's important.
Right. Walk us through the history. I mean, I know at one point you had a place up in Severna Park.
We did.
And now you're pretty much centralized right here in Annapolis. Mm-hmm. How did it come, and where do you look to go in the future?
Right now we are going to continue to do what we do well, and that's make people happy here on Bay Ridge Road. We have certainly grown within this location quite a bit. We have about 14 vehicles and a couple of trucks on top of that. I think we've maxed out in our parking lot here. But I see in the future that we will continue to go in the Baltimore, Annapolis, Washington area. Where we're going to go in the future is that we're just going to continue to do what we're good at. I mean, I don't see us growing much more because we want to keep doing 100%
what you do well.
Work. Yeah.
Where you said Baltimore, Washington, Annapolis, obviously area. How far do you go?
We'll go to D.C. We do a lot of work for some firms in D.C., Monday through corporate work. We'll also go to Baltimore. There's some venues in Baltimore that we work at as well for
out on the shore at all?
And then we'll do some shores, private homes mostly on the shore.
Right.
Yeah, and we have a wedding at Britland Estates. It's a beautiful location, too.
What's your favorite thing to cater?
I love weddings. I still do. And it's funny because when every single time you're at a wedding and you're working a wedding, you kind of get lost in the fact that it's such a special moment for them. I mean, it sounds a little goofy, but it's true.
I get it. I get it. Yeah. And you're sharing with that in some aspect.
Right. And there's a little tug, every time you're at a wedding and someone's cutting the cake and the bride and the groom are cutting the cake, you focus on that. And that's what I always tell the staff is you really immerse yourself in the event. It's so important to immerse yourself into what's happening. So.
Well, it's also I think you've got a difficult position because in certain senses, in looking at a wedding, there's something to be said about being invisible too.
Right. Oh, that's right.
I mean, it's like all of a sudden, how did that drink get full?
Yeah.
How did
Yeah. And to stay behind the scenes when you're not needed.
Right.
You always there's something to be said about your service, your staff, and you're really seen, but you're not heard, and that's key to what we do.
Any funny wedding disaster stories, like cakes falling off of the tables?
Are we on right now?
Yeah, we're on. We're on.
I don't know. I've signed.
I don't need names. But
I tell you this is a little bit of a funny story because this goes way back when I did a wedding when I was all by myself when I was about 17. I think I just gotten my license and learned how to drive stick. But this is a long time ago,
right?
So
we don't do this anymore.
That this doesn't happen anymore, and nobody drives their personal vehicles anymore. But I had a wedding cake, and I'm afraid that I wasn't an expert in driving stick quite yet, and the cake went to the side at the door, and luckily was a professional and was able to fix that cake very quickly with some beautiful dogwood flowers from the client's backyard. So that was awesome. We did have a situation once where we had some bridesmaids not get along at a wedding. And fortunately, one of our lead servers worked at a crisis center. And she had to get involved and intervene among the bridesmaids.
Oh, my word.
And it was later in the evening. So
the alcohol had been flowing.
Yeah, luckily she was able to calm things down. But that was an exciting evening.
That's probably before the days of YouTube. That could have been viral.
Thank goodness. But we have managers now things have changed so much. We have managers on duty, almost like a doctor on call here at Main and Market, where we are there. Someone is on call for any type of situation that may occur. Because you can't control traffic. And there's always somebody on standby to say, okay, this is what you need to do instead. Or we're going to call the client and we can delay this by 15 minutes to make sure that, there's no hiccups upon arrival.
Plan B's at the ready here.
And sometimes you just need someone to help you think outside the box.
Sure.
So, and that comes with experience. And that is something that a lot of people don't realize when they're looking to a caterer. So what is your experience with all those situations? The client doesn't want to know about them that day.
Right.
What they want to know is, do you have the experience to fix it all behind the scenes? Absolutely.
Sure.
So that's a biggie. So the little cakes falling, those things don't happen anymore because we have lots of equipment to help us with that now, refrigerated vans. And so those are the things that have changed in the past 25 years.
I've got to imagine, as I look at these wedding cakes, and it's been a long, long time since I've had a wedding myself, but these multi-tier cakes, it's got to be difficult to transport them, I would think, just because...
Well, we usually try and send 2 people, obviously, on large wedding cake deliveries, and we deliver them in bread racks. So, and then we use bungee cords. Some cakes, somebody are so delicate that we may need to hold them. So it just depends on the actual cake itself. And then some cakes are assembled on site. If it's that involved, we may have to send our pastry chef to actually assemble and finish the cake
there
on site. But, there's always a little bit. Every cake is different. Every wedding cake we've ever done, there really isn't one cake that's the same.
Right. I look and I would say I'd like that style, whether it be square, 3-tier, 4-tier, whatever it may be.
It really is based on what, and cakes now. Cakes, food, presentation, it's really become, everyone's kind of an expert. Thanks, Pinterest, and everyone comes in with their pictures. I want to make this happen. Look at this beautiful cake. And they're gorgeous. However, gorgeous means it's going to be labor intensive, which may mean it might cost a little bit more than your average cake or your average display. But it's really fun because, again, you may say, I want this cake, but then they're going to alter it a little bit to make it their cake. So, yeah.
Have you ever had a client that has no budget, and by no budget, I mean unlimited?
We've had a few. A lot of fun. Those are the clients that say, you know what, I trust you. Tell us what is going to be the best. What's going to be the best menu? What is going to be the best experience for our guests? And those are the clients who don't skip on staff because you want your guests to feel so taken care of. And as you were saying, to make sure your wine is refilled and you didn't even know that they came behind you. To be made special, feel special. And the food. To have a nice, vast selection of different items for people to taste and try. Items that maybe you wouldn't necessarily order at a restaurant yourself, and you have an opportunity to taste lots of different butler hors d'oeuvres and have some beautiful stations or have a beautiful plated dinner. But also when you walk in a room or you walk into a wedding, to say, wow, this is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And take your breath away. When you're going, let's say, transitioning from a cocktail hour into the reception venue, to see how beautiful the colors that have been chosen, the decor, and the flowers.
And you've got to work so closely with wedding planners and probably the tent people and those.
And we love wedding planners because we want to focus on what we're really good at, which is the food, and really setting everything up to be everything you wanted it to be. And wedding planners move things along, to make sure that everything's timely.
They're the first line of defense against Bridezilla.
There are no Bridezillas. No.
I said that, not you. One of the things that surprised me, and I'm going to switch back to the cafe for a little bit, and it's sort of a mental block for me, is that I forget that you guys have a full liquor license and a quote-unquote bar, even though it's not really a place that you would think of as, let's go to the main ingredient and get some shots.
But the counter is a great little place to have dinner.
Well, it is. That's the big secret is when you see a line out the door on the weekends for breakfast or brunch, which there always is, and if you're one or two, sneak in there and take a peek at the counter because you can usually get a seat or two there. That's my sort of go-to spot. But dinner, I've had 3 or 4 dinners here over my life, but most of my experience has been with breakfast, and fabulous. Meatloaf.
Oh yeah.
Comfort food is
gourmet
spot
comfort
on.
food.
The burgers are very good, and certainly the bakery goes without saying. But that's just one thing that a lot of people I think don't understand, that you've got this whole lunch and dinner thing as opposed to. And
we have like a shift. So you have your lunch crowd that's pretty in and out. They're busy, and so and then. Around 4 o'clock, we have a lot of our regulars, 4:30, 5 o'clock, our regulars that'll come in for dinner.
Right.
We have some people that eat here twice a day, but they'll come in and have dinner. And so you have that shift of, some of our folks that, may live down the street for 2 for $32, which is great on Tuesdays. And then we'll also, we do half-price bottle wine night on Wednesday nights, and that brings in a later crowd. So every night's a little bit different. We also have some great dinner specials, so you can come in and get a sandwich or have a burger. We just added this awesome vegetarian sausage sandwich with a smoky tomato aioli and pesto on a pretzel roll.
Oh, yum.
It's delicious for anyone who doesn't eat meat. But for dinner specials, I know, for Valentine's Day, Ryan, our chef on the line, did an awesome bouillabaisse. He did a great duck salad. So they'll also do some really nice specials. So if you don't feel like going into town and you're close by, or you have the kids and you're running in, but you don't want to, go to somewhere across the street for something too fast, you can slow down and have
She's
dinner
trying
there.
Not to diss McDonald's.
No. Come in and slow down, have a glass of wine while your kids get their dinner for the night.
No plans to add a play zone?
Oh, no. But we have plenty of families that come in too. So like I said, it's nice because it's all about timing. So.
What's your personal favorite thing on the cafe menu?
I love all our salmon dishes. I know you don't like fish, John.
That's okay.
But our herb crusted salmon is awesome. We do and I love and that would probably be more of my dinner choice. But for lunch, our kale quinoa salad, and that has salmon on it too. But we do a great, for breakfast, breakfast tacos are probably my favorite. But also for dinner, we added, let's see, what was one of the items that we just recently added for dinner? We did a great jambalaya, so something different. So we kind of broke it out, just to give a little bit of everything for everybody.
Well, I'll tell you, Evie Turner, thank you for a little bit of the history of Main and Market, and I'm going to get used to telling that. And you guys have some sister companies too, or sister restaurants as well.
We do. So Tom Hogan is, who is our managing owner, is partners with Federal House downtown. Annapolis.
Is that related to the other Hogan that lives up downtown in the big brick house at the top of the hill?
No relation. No. But I did do Governor Hogan's wedding at the Pica House.
Okay.
Gosh, I can't remember how long ago that was. He's probably better at remembering that than me. But that was a beautiful wedding at the William Pica House. And Tom has a couple partners, Jen Panic, Jeremy Black, and Mike Alwyn, and those are partners at Federal House. And then we also, Tom's also a partner in a restaurant, Bayside Bull, more of Pit Beef location
over
down in South Carolina.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Do you guys, I guess, commingle, if you will, on your catering side? I mean, I wouldn't think of main ingredient as far as if I want to have a barbecue picnic.
We certainly do.
And I'm certainly you can.
We do, because it's a different, you may do a wedding and you want a little bit of pulled barbecue. Our pulled barbecue beef brisket's awesome. Mm-hmm. Brett makes, our chef, Brett Curitan, makes awesome ribs. And we do a lot of crab feasts. And we incorporate that a lot together. Because we'll do a lot with our event planner that we work with that her office at Port Annapolis Marina, and we'll do great crab feast down there. But no, we really don't. Everyone kind of has their own their own thing going
Cool.
on. Yeah.
Cool. Well, Evie Turner, thank you very much
You're
for a little bit of
welcome.
insight to Main and Market. I do recommend everybody get down here for a meal, whether it be breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And certainly if you've got an event that you're planning, whether it be for your business or your personal life, you got to give these guys a look. Come on down. And if you walk into the cafe, go 2 doors down to the right. If you walk into here looking for the cafe, go 2 doors to your left. And it's my entertainment on Sundays where I can get one of the booths in the sort of the expanded section of the cafe and watch people go like shaking the door, like so looking in, trying to figure out.
They're closed.
I see you guys over there, but how did you get in there?
Right. Oh, that's so funny.
But thank you very much, and congratulations on your history since '93. I think you said it was, and here's to many, many more.
Thank you. Thanks, John.
Thanks for listening to this special podcast for Annapolis. Please be sure to visit Annapolis.net for all your local news, events, and opinions. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the Annapolis Daily News Brief, where we bring you your local news direct to your phone or tablet every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Subscribe on iTunes or Google Play.